my privilege to introduce someone who embodies the resilience we celebrate tonight. Please join me in welcoming survivor speaker Abbie Paklos, who will courageously share her journey through breast cancer, a story of perseverance, strength, and hope. Abbie?
Hi, everybody. Okay, nervous energy, we gotta let it go. Okay, hello and good evening, everybody. First, I want to start by thanking Michelle for inviting me here tonight to share my story. She found me on Instagram. I got this random message from someone named Michelle, and she said, will you come speak at my event? And this was back over the summer. I said, sure. And then it got closer, and I realized, oh my God, I have to speak in front of all these people. So let me start my story here. I don't like to start off and introduce myself to new people. Hi, I'm Abbie, I have cancer. It just doesn't feel right. So I just kind of wanted to tell you guys a little bit about who I really am, because cancer is just what I have, but it's not who I am. I'm gonna try very hard not to cry. I'm a fiance, a cat mom to 2 fur children, Jack and Coco. They're little white rag dolls. I'm a friend, a daughter, a sister, and a business owner, actually. And in my free time, I love to bake and cook, decorate for the seasons. You guys should see my house right now. It's like full on fall. Travel to new places and hang out on the beach. Those are my favorite things, and that's who I am. But let me back up to New Year's Eve 2024. Entering what was supposed to be the best year ever, I was newly engaged and planning my wedding for July 25th, 2025. My fiance Rick and I were so excited to celebrate and do all the fun things, and I will never forget toasting at midnight with friends and my fiance thinking this is going to be the best year of my life. Little did I know, a few weeks later, my life and all my future plans for it would change forever. January 20th, 2025, I came home from work and was lying on my couch watching TV. I happened to rest my hand in a certain way, just like this, so you guys know, just in case you guys ever are laying on your couch and feel anything. I felt a lump in my left breast. I immediately went into the bathroom to investigate, and sure enough, I had a lump the size of a marble that was fixed and not movable. As you can imagine, I freaked out because I never felt anything like this in my life. So the next day, I called my gyno, and then within a week, I went in and was told after a bedside ultrasound that it was a fluid-filled cyst, and she said, you're young, don't worry about it. It was very common in women my age to have cysts. I felt like I was just getting shooed along, which sadly is a common reality for young women in the breast cancer world. Luckily, I pushed for me. I asked for a mammogram and ultrasound since I am under 40. I've never had one before. And what felt like a lot of begging and pushing, she finally agreed to let me have one. Showing up to my mammogram, I was pretty nervous, but I still had hope that it was just a cyst. It felt impossible for me to actually have breast cancer. It does not run in my family, and I thought, I'm healthy, I'm 33 years old, there's no way I have this. The mammogram cut nothing because, as we were talking about earlier, I have dense breasts. So it's very important to couple the mammogram with an ultrasound for people like me, which is what caught the lump. I was in the middle of getting my ultrasound, and me and the tech were chatting and having small talk. We were actually talking about her jewelry because I'm a huge jewelry lover, and she had these amazing earrings on, I'll never forget. And so we were just having, honestly, a good time in a weird situation. But I feel like a lot of people in this room know what I'm talking about. She went over the area and everything got silent. She stopped talking to me. And she kind of just ran out of the room, to be honest with you guys. She came back in and said, I need to do an ultrasound of your left armpit as well. And I thought, that's weird. Why does she need to look at my armpit? I mean, this is someone coming from, I never knew anything about breast cancer until now. Now I feel like I know too much. And so after a few minutes, the radiologist came back in. He didn't know what the mass was, but he just told me that I had an enlarged lymph node in my armpit, and in my left breast, the lump was very suspicious. And he's just said, "You're young, I would go get this checked out. I really don't know what it is, but it doesn't look normal." And then I also should throw in that from late November, I had a strange chest pain that would come and go. It was a pain that I had never felt before. It radiated from my sternum bone through my whole chest, and I went to countless doctors for months, and they told me it was just bad inflammation from being sick. I got many x-rays done that caught nothing, and my blood work kept coming back perfect, nothing unusual. I got prescribed more inhalers than I will ever need in my lifetime. They're still in my closet at home. And no one could give me answers to this mysterious pain, so the radiologist recommended I go and get looked at. And I just have to tell you guys, I had everything from pneumonia to COVID to the flu, all within a 3-month period, which obviously is not normal. And I do think that was correlated with what I'm going to tell you. So I went in for the biopsy, and then the first thing the doctor said to me once it was over was, "Have you chosen an oncologist to work with?" And this is before I even had my results back. She told me that she was very confident that it was breast cancer. She recommended I spend my weekend researching oncologists and that she would call me with the final results. And I obviously left in tears, as you guys can imagine. I couldn't believe that this was happening to me. That weekend also happened to be President's Day weekend, and it was the longest 4 days I've ever waited in my whole life. But sure enough, I got the call Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m., and she said, "You have breast cancer." Both my breast and armpit tested positive, and I was in complete shock. But a voice came into my head and said, "You're gonna get through this." God, guys, I finally got it together. Now you're gonna make me cry again. The following weeks were complete chaos. Countless doctor's appointments, scans, and procedures. I met with a new hospital group because I felt like my experience was a complete disaster. All while going through this, I was trying to keep my business up and running, seeing clients as much as possible. I own a bridal boutique, by the way. But I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot. And probably the hardest, not probably, it was the hardest 2 months of my life that I have ever experienced. And I look back now and I think, how the heck did I get through all that? It's pretty amazing. I was shown the infusion center and where I would be having chemo. I was told I was ER/PR positive and HER2 negative. All of this was a foreign language to me as I knew nothing about breast cancer at the time. I had my first chemo date set up, surgery scheduled, and I just started accepting that I had breast cancer. And I told myself, "Abbie, you just gotta get through this year, and it's gonna be hard, but I will come out on the other side and be able to move on with my life," like a lot of us in here. But then, about 3 weeks after I found out I had breast cancer, I got another call. My CT scan and bone density results came back, and at 33 years old, I got re-diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. The cancer had already traveled to my sternum bone, which explained my mystery chest pain that nobody could figure out for months. My previous plan was canceled, and I was told that this is treatable, but it's not curable. I didn't know what stage 4 cancer meant for me, and I didn't know much about this disease at all. And that's why I'm going to tell you guys about it too. I have been living with this for 8 months now, so it's still pretty new. I will have to be on treatment for the rest of my life, and I am currently on a targeted oral therapy called Kisqali and hormone therapy called anastrozole. I get monthly shots of Lupron to keep me in menopause and bone infusions of Zometa every 3 months. And that's my protocol for now. I made the hard decision to cancel my wedding due to too many unknowns. My whole future is different now. I cannot carry my own child, and I didn't end up going through with freezing my eggs because honestly, I was just too overwhelmed. It was a lot of decisions to make in a 3-week period. And let me tell you, Google is not your friend in this situation. I was reading all bad stories and information about stage 4. Needless to say, I haven't been back on Google since February. Yeah, don't go on Google, guys. I was finding all negative videos and posts on social media with women who have the same diagnosis as me. However, I felt like I couldn't relate because many of these women were over 40 years old. They were at different life stages, and many had already had kids and had breast cancer prior to this. I, didn't. It was all caught at once. This made me start my own platform, which has become such a huge movement in my life, and I called it Blood, Sweat, and Boobs. Because that is exactly what my journey has been. I decided I wanted to make it a positive place to share my experience, stories, and journey in a good way. I wanted to show that there is also so many glimmers of hope and encouragement along the way in this nightmare. I have connected with so many young women in the past year. I have listened to many stories and related to so many. It's sadly the same story over and over. Young people not taken seriously due to their age. Having to fight to be seen and get mammograms. Too many are ushered along and not given proper diagnosis. And I want to be the voice for all of us going through breast cancer under 40. That is why I am so passionate about sharing my story. More needs to be done in the breast cancer world for young people. The metastatic community is also amazing. I find many people don't understand what my diagnosis is or what it means. So I use it as a way to educate people about what stage 4 breast cancer is. And I find many can't comprehend that I will have this forever. The most common questions I get asked is, why am I not on chemo? Why am I not getting surgery, and why no radiation? I would say I get those asked a million times a week from my customers and from people I come in contact with. The short answer is, it is not the first line of protocol for someone like me with my subtype of cancer. Actually, for people with metastatic, chemo, for the most part, is normally like the last resort. We have a lot of other treatment lines before then, so that's why I still have my hair, because again, people ask me that all the time, how do you still have your hair? I cut a lot of it off, though. I cut 8 inches off because it was very thin. So this is like my new short too. I had really long hair before. It was thinning. Okay, where did I leave off? Now I'm just talking to you guys about my hair here. Many don't know that there are other ways to treat besides chemo. I have found a life purpose in educating people on this and speaking out. There is still so much work to be done in this community, and did you guys know that less than 13% of global breast cancer research funds are allocated to MBC, metastatic breast cancer? Yet 98% of all breast cancer deaths are caused by metastatic. We need to do better for stage 4 patients like me. We rely on multiple lines of treatment to survive and live a happy, healthy life. Keeping the cancer contained and under control is what the treatment does. Research and science is our friend, and more money needs to be allocated to just MBC as well to help come up with more treatments for all of us to keep living healthy and fulfilled lives. All right, I'm almost done. Cancer has taken so much away from me. My energy, the fatigue from the meds is real, it's no joke. My ability to ever have my own child, my wedding, the way I work, the things I commit to, what I choose to eat and drink. My whole lifestyle is completely different. It has taken away just being a normal, carefree 34-year-old. I turned 34 in April. Thank you. What it hasn't taken away from me is my strength and courage. I look back on these 8 months and I can't help but reflect on how strong I actually am, and I'm very proud of myself. Thank you. And I do have some good news to end this. I am happy to say that my tumors are all shrinking significantly. And I am actually doing very, very well. I am able to live a pretty normal life so far, which I am beyond grateful for because not everybody, I feel like, is as lucky as me. I have found a new life purpose, sharing mindset techniques and valuable tips on how to live with this through my social media page, if you guys want to follow me, Blood, Sweat, and Boobs. This is what has helped me get through so far, connecting with all you guys, and honestly, I believe that is why I'm doing so well. I may never be a survivor, but I will always be a thriver. Thank you. And I just want to end this too, because I feel like a lot of people can connect with this. When they first get diagnosed, you think your life is over, but I am like realizing it's just beginning. Thank you.